And all right. I think I see the red button on.
The numbers are moving.
The numbers are
Numbers are
moving.
moving. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mr.
I let you
Wamble.
know. Valarie, Valarie, Valarie,
Yes,
Valarie,
yes,
Valarie, Valarie,
yes,
Valarie,
yes,
Valarie,
yes,
Valarie,
yes.
Valarie, 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 Val,
Oh,
Val, Valarie,
yes,
Valarie.
I'm here. I'm
I'm
here.
sorry.
I'm
I'm
here.
sorry. I was inspired by Kanye West. Sorry. So I was giving you the Valarie chant. Valarie, 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 Valarie,
I
Valarie,
didn't understand
Valarie,
that at
Valarie,
first. Oh my
Valarie,
gosh.
Valarie, Valarie, Valarie.
Oh
Donda,
boy.
Donda, 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 Donda,
Wow.
Donda.
Uh,
Yay! So today
guys,
is Tuesday.
yeah,
Tuesday,
guys,
Tuesday,
welcome,
Tuesday, Tuesday,
welcome,
Tuesday, Tuesday, Tuesday,
welcome.
Tuesday.
I,
It's not Wednesday, it's not Monday, it's Tuesday. So this is Talk on Tuesday, Interludes Extra with Valarie. Valarie,
okay,
Valarie,
okay,
Valarie,
all right. I
Valarie,
don't, I
Valarie.
don't understand this, so I'm assuming this is Kanye doing his thing when the listening party
If you
happening
are
and things
among
kept.
the 60
Yeah.
million people who streamed it, yes, within the last few days, then you know the chant. It begins Donda, 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 and just
Wow.
continues until you move it forward.
Hey, Clarice, thank you for joining us. I didn't get it. She got it. She's laughing in the chat. She is laughing in the chat. She gets it.
Valerie, 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 Valerie. Yeah.
She gets it. Oh my gosh. Hey, Mr. Fox, how you doing? Welcome.
Bill Fox, 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 Fox,
Really? We're gonna
Fox.
do that?
Nah, we don't have to do it, but he's the man. He know he's the man. I don't have to pump him up. I don't have to pump him
Oh,
up. Just tell the truth. That's all you need. Tell the truth, shame the devil.
well, we're gonna do the serious stuff first. Unfortunately, it's hurricane season. Do you know where your house is?
My
I,
goodness.
I don't know.
Thankfully I do because I am far away from what was the epicenter of Hurricane Ida, which hit the Louisiana coast um, on Sunday.
They don't need
Sunday
anything
was a
else.
heck of a day.
They don't need anything
16
else.
years ago, it was Katrina.
Yeah.
And over this weekend, it was Ida, Hurricane Ida. It's a wrecking ball.
Really quickly, I feel like the weathermen are sexist. Why are all of these hurricane names after
Why they have to be
ladies?
weathermen? Why couldn't they be weather people? You were
But why are they
sexist.
named after
You were
ladies?
sexist. Why
I'm
they
not a
named after
sexist.
ladies? Their names. They're given names.
And Ida sounds extremely, like extremely
Look,
old school.
there was a hurricane. Michael. Look, there was.
It was named after you?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I mean, there've been hurricanes. They don't just receive female names. It's just
Okay.
as usual, it's the women that do the most damage.
Oh, we were reminded by Mr. Fox. He said Hurricane Andrew. I totally forgot.
Yes,
Okay,
Andrew.
my bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
Michael, Andrew. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that the women do the most damage.
Okay. All right. Michael is not speaking for all. The Interludes podcast is not has independent whatever. Okay. So let's
I,
keep going. Let's keep going.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the one that I was nearly in many, many years ago. I tried to erase that name of that one from my mind, but once
Yeah.
upon a time when I lived in Virginia, which is way too close to the Atlantic Ocean for this kind of nonsense, I had to live through some of this. So I have a great amount of empathy for these folks and some of the things that they're going to be going through. Now,
And what
so it's not because see, here's the thing,
mhm.
Miss Johnson, it's not just when it hits. It's just like Dr. Dre's, label. It's the aftermath. It's the aftermath that really
Yeah.
makes the difference. So right now, no water, no electricity, no signs that anything's going to change is coming anytime soon. Ida has left New Orleans, sections of Louisiana, and also Mississippi without power. Now here's it by the numbers, okay? So it
Okay.
hit Sunday at about 150 miles per hour,
Mm-hmm.
which now has caused more than 1 million people in both of those states to be without power. Nearly 500,000 are without water, and about 300,000 are under boil water order. In terms of financial, like money damages, it's caused
Right.
about $15 billion in damages.
Mm-hmm.
And when I mean, it's late August in New Orleans, so you know it's hot. Any of y'all that's been down there for Essence or anything else, you know it gets hot down there in New Orleans. Folks that don't live
I
there
love
or have
Essence.
family and friends there,
I love Essence.
it's hot, isn't it?
It's extremely hot. And New Orleans is such a beautiful city. I don't know if any of the people
It
in
was.
the chat, well, it is a beautiful city. And the scary thing is, well, I saw it after Katrina hit. I think I was in Essence 2007 and 2008. And
Hmm.
it recovered, but not quite. And I think the biggest thing that they were worried about is, did the levees hold? They built the levees over the last 16 years, and they're supposed to be
Yeah,
holding the wall,
but see,
but
it's the
anything.
power. I
Oh,
mean, a
okay.
lot of people think it, and I understand that. That makes sense, of course, because if you remember anything about Katrina, like you said, it was the
Hmm.
levees. But right now, it's the power. The
Okay.
city is a bowl, right? You heard that. You may have heard that described. It. The city is shaped like a bowl.
Right.
So water goes in, and it
Hmm.
needs electricity to generate the pumps to pump the water out.
Out.
So when there's
Okay.
no electricity, there's no working pumps to pump the water out. So the water just sits there. So now it's hot and steamy and humid and swampy water just sitting there in this bowl. And the power company, Intergy, that's what it's called.
Oh
According to
yeah.
CBS News reports, that it's going to take them at least like 30 days before electricity is fully restored to the region.
Now, and
So that
unfortunately,
water's just going
I
to sit there.
it's going to sit there. Unfortunately, I just spoke to my next door neighbor who I grew up with, and his father unfortunately passed away in New Orleans. And he was in his 90s and was
Condolences.
in and yeah, thank you so much. And he was in, I believe, one of the nursing homes. And so I don't know if the hurricane hit and he passed away. I don't know what exactly happened, but none of the family can travel to New Orleans right now because they're in recovery mode. And so he doesn't even know if and when they'll even have services for his father. So for all the people in New Orleans and in and around the area that Ida hit, we here at Interludes, we're going to be praying for you. I'm so decide to that. Oh my gosh. Let me give another shout out to the chat. We got BK apologists in the house. How you guys doing? And thank you so much for joining us. And like I said,
Brooklyn and
Louisiana, the two hurricanes that I lived through in New York was, which one was that, BK apologist? It was, I believe,
you're in a
Sandy,
superstorm, right? Superstorm Stanley.
Superstorm Sandy, but the year
Hmm.
before that was Irene. She made some noise and then she left. But then Sandy did the same thing that you're talking about, and I believe that water sat in Manhattan because parts of the island is low level, next to sea level, and
Well,
and, and
there's more coming. Here's the thing.
yeah, I
There's
know.
more coming.
Hmm.
So the trajectory of this now weakened tropical storm as it continues over land, it's heading to New York. It's on its way to NYC.
Yeah. So I hate to let people know that's listening from the East Coast. Please be on your watch. I believe by the time it travels up there, it will be a tropical storm. Like I believe
Yeah, it's
Hurricane
tropical
Sandy
storm. No,
was.
well, it's
Yeah.
not a hurricane anymore, right? Because it's not over water.
it's over land, so
Right.
it
So it's not
goes
a hurricane.
down. Right, but I believe it's the winds that can determine if it's a superstorm or not, and if those winds stay above what is the speed, like 50 or 60 miles per hour. I don't know. I'm not a weather girl. I don't know,
No, no. What
but
I'm just
yeah,
pointing out the fact that it's not a hurricane anymore, of course, because it's not
exactly.
over water.
It's over land.
It's over
So
land.
I, but yeah, like I said, we'll be praying for
So
the
already
folks down
it
there.
had the same type of negative impact that it would if it was still over water. It's
Yeah,
just it's going to be
right.
pulling up, things that are in the atmosphere, as
Hmm.
well as if it goes over rivers and such. So it's not going to be as terrible as what New Orleans
Right.
um,
So
weathered.
moving on, Mr.
Well, I mean,
West.
as you said, yeah, we're thinking about them. Yeah,
We're thinking about them, right? Yeah. Moving on, Mr. West has
Donda,
released
Donda,
Donda.
Donda, Donda,
Seriously,
Donda, Donda. Yeah,
she.
Donda. I
That's
mean,
all he says.
no, that's the one. That's a track. That's the track. That's the whole track.
Has anyone heard this Donda album by Kanye West? Let me know in the chat. Just let me know in the chat. I just want to know.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know.
So when you say that, I mean it'll be interesting the response because look,
Hmm.
it was released over the weekend secretly. I got a call from my super source early on Sunday that hey, it's out. It's like for
Hmm.
real, yes, it
Hmm.
is. So in a move that probably surprised Kanye, if anything ever could surprise him, this seemed to do it. At least that's what he's saying officially. He didn't think it was going to come out. Universal Music said, "Nope, it's ready. We're sick of this. We're done," and put it out. I mean, which is going to be, we can come back to that in a minute, which is going to, I think, give him the ability to do what he loves to do, which is go back and tinker with it and make some changes and allege that he wasn't ready anyway. So it's following. It comes out like the Sunday after that chaotic, beautiful mess of a listening party on Thursday at Chicago Soldier Field, which
Hmm.
featured a lot of celebrities and odd cameos and a house in the middle of a football stadium, just all sorts of weird things. A fully functional house, I should say, there. So Donna hit early Sunday morning.
Okay.
It broke Apple Music records. Okay.
Wow.
It,
That's
it
good.
immediately was number one in 152 countries. It received more than 60 million streams just on that day, Sunday, not counting what it has received in the last, 2 days. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Now, who's on Donda?
Yeah, let's hear that.
Really, who isn't on Donda? Pretty much. The Babies is on there.
Okay.
Marilyn Manson, who both the baby and Marilyn Manson were at the show at the Soldier Field. Okay.
Okay.
Lil Baby, not to be confused with the baby. Lil Baby is also on there. Chris
I'm totally
Brown,
confused. I'm confused. Okay.
uh, you know, uh, you know, he of X Fenty fame. Chris Brown is there. Lil Durk, Lil Yachty. So all the littles are covered. Playboy Cardi, Travis Scott, who
Okay.
through
All right.
Kanye, they sort of both were keeping up with the Kardashians, kind of right.
Kind of.
Baby
Not
King,
really.
Baby
Okay.
King, who is Kendrick's cousin, if you follow that. The Locks are on the Locks. Remember the Locks?
Yeah, that was a
Shout
group
out
that
to the
was
2000s. Yeah, the Locks are
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Ty
right.
Dolla Sign because he can't be stopped, I guess.
Okay.
Kid Cudi, the late Pop Smoke is on this, as well
Oh,
as
okay.
Beyonce's husband. Beyonce's husband is also on at least one of the tracks.
Jay-Z. Okay.
Who?
All right.
Who?
Uh, Jay-Z is on here.
Oh, Jay Z. Yeah, he's Beyonce's husband.
Yeah, good gracious. Okay.
Mr. Beyonce. Yeah, he's on there with you
He
know
has his
with
own
his
identity.
Basquiat
Don't do
looking.
that to that poor child.
Actually, what he does is he kind of I mean, if you listen to his track, which I hope is on your version when you streamed it or look for it, because I know there are two versions of the same song. He's on one of them, he's not on the other. His verse is really helpful to kind of humanize Kanye West. It kind of reminds you of like at least who he was when they met. He talks
Mhm.
about taking off his red hat.
He needs to,
That's what Jay said,
and make
and Jay also in his kind of shortened verse sort of reminds people that like the reason this is called Don Don, the reason things have been as they've been is because of what happened in the aftermath of this young, depends on if you think he's a genius, I do, genius artist losing one of the foundations that kept him stable, which was his mother. His
yeah,
mother, Donda West, who
yeah.
worked as an educator. The home that's there in the listening party at Soldier Field, that was a replica of the
Replica
house
of the
that
home
he
that he
has
grew up
tried to
in.
preserve. Where that's one of the places that they live that I guess is key to
Hmm.
his roots. Um, she taught English. She was a professor. She worked at
Hmm.
Chicago State.
Yep.
These are all things, at some point, if you go into Kanye West history, if you're so inclined, they
If
were in Japan at some point. He
yeah,
learned
if you
Japanese art. I mean, so those early albums with the cover art, these are things that he was learning about as a teen. I mean,
right.
it's no mystery that that's the direction that he went into in anime. He wasn't just playing with it; he knew it. Um,
If
I
you
think
have a favorite, if you have a favorite track by Kanye, put it in the chat. We want to know which one. I have some favorites that pop off in my head.
you
What about
do.
you?
Okay, yeah. What? Yeah, tell me. What have you thought? What are
Oh,
your thoughts on it?
well, I love Through the Fire because it's sampling my favorite song, one of my favorite songs by Shaka Khan. I'm sorry.
Wait. You talking about ever? Or are you talking about Donda? Which
No,
type?
I'm talking. No, no, no. I'm talking about of all my favorite all time. I haven't heard this Donda situation, so I can't speak to what my favorites are from Donda. I can talk about what previous tracks that I like from him. So yeah,
You talking about
now
previous? Okay.
talking about previous tracks. Now you've heard the whole situation. Is that correct?
I've heard a lot of it. Let's
Okay,
put it
so
that way.
give
I
me
would say I heard.
three songs that are your favorites that you've heard. Three favorites.
Well, okay. So there is a song where he samples Lauren Hill, which
Okay. Which which
I
Lauren
think
Hill?
when it comes to there's a controversy outside of Donda, which has always been there between Kanye and Drake. Now I love the single that Drake did where he sampled Lauren Hill, but here I think Kanye shows that he is a producer. So his version of sampling Lauren Hill is like so superior to what Drake did. Not that it's a contest, but it just kind of leaves it in the dust. It's called
Okay.
"Believe What I Say." All right, and,
Okay.
and
Believe what I say.
it's a really interesting song. That's something that I can listen to more than once. See okay when you do what you're saying, which I think is interesting, and I would be interested in what people say in terms of what their favorite Kanye West songs are. I don't think he's doing that anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to explain it. It's hard to explain, um, but I think he is into this concept. Well, gonna go with me if you can with this.
All right.
That it's not really about singles. It's not about like,
Okay.
oh, let's go hear my favorite song or his favorite this or his favorite that. I think because the sheer volume of what was released, it's like 27 tracks. That's like ridiculous, right?
That's
I
almost
mean,
it, it
we're talking
in
about
an
like we're
old
talking about
time an
Prince
old
territory. We're
yeah
talking about Prince territory, you
and
know?
an old time way you would think that would be. I would like to say it. That's an old and back in the day that would be like a double album
At least,
at
right?
least. a double album
I
with
mean, remember when
27
Prince came out with Emancipation? It was like 3 discs. It's like, what?
tracks.
So I mean, this is like somebody, and I think that's a good comparison. I think because as a big Prince fan, is that this is clearly somebody who has been wanting to put out something for a while, right? Going through a lot. Almost the same way when Prince, hence the name Emancipation, was separating from or wanted to separate from Warner Brothers, and he had all this music, right? It's
Built
like
up
I want
inside
to
of
put
him,
it's just building up, right?
building
So
up. It
then
was
it just
building up. Yeah.
it just releases. Like so the idea with this, I don't think is like particularly let's we find the best. It's not like finding like let's find the best 10 songs and put them together, which arguably you might say is what graduation or late registration did. Let's find like
Exactly.
the 10, 12 best songs and put them all together and maybe try to do through interludes how to tie it together. I don't think
Okay.
he's interested in that anymore. I think this is like
He's moved
a
on. He's
mood.
moved on.
It's like a mood.
Okay. And what
It's
is
like
the mood? What here's the big question. What is the mood of this album? The overall mood of Danya?
it's hard. It's hard to say. Um,
Is it sad? Is it uplifting? Is it
I don't see.
edgy? Is it I don't really care? Like, like what is it?
See, I mean, okay, it's easy to say I don't really care, but when you say I don't really care, and you someone who has had 3 opportunities to get feedback from the public to go back and continue to adjust what it is that you're putting out, then
Right.
obviously you're interested in feedback, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
talked about that before. That's like when you test a movie and you have a test audience and they don't like the ending, you go and change the ending.
And
And
who's
I
to
think
say? And who's to say? Because this in Chicago was what the third or fourth listing party.
the third.
The
And, and,
third.
and then
So
when he says that, Universal put it out and I wasn't, ready or something. I mean,
he
what's that mean?
he might. So that means he cared about what people thought. He did
Exactly.
listing. He put out listing parties, and it might have changed. It probably did change between the first listening party, the second listening party, and then what happened a
Oh,
week ago in
definitely. There were
Chicago.
people that thought they weren't going to be on Donda, and then found out later through this process that oh
They
no,
were.
actually my voice is on there. He used what I put down.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
for instance, Kid Cudi said he didn't think he was on there, and then he's on the track called The Moon. He's on the track called Moon. Okay,
How is that
so
track? How is that track?
it's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
if
that
they're going to
face.
be singles, if you're someone who is not interested in this type of, experience for someone who has clearly gone through, ups and downs in his personal life and mental health, if you're just looking for what song's going to get on the radio, Hurricane definitely is going to
How
elevate
ironic.
in the
Since we just talked about a real hurricane, the track
Well, I mean, but
that's
the
popular.
song features Lil Baby and The Weeknd, and you can't get hotter than those two people.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So
in the
that might
song,
be that
right,
might
he's
be a
got the hook
single.
from the Weeknd. It pretty much
Right.
everything the Weeknd touches, he's got the platinum Midas touch. I mean,
Yeah, him and Bruno Mars, I think.
pretty much. So he's got
Much.
a song with Lil Baby and The Weeknd. So
Okay.
there you go. If they want to do a single, they got that. Then they got a song, called Praise God with
Hmm.
Baby King, who's again is Kendrick Lamar's cousin, and Travis Scott.
Okay.
That's listenable. It's listenable. The Lauren Hill that I mentioned, the song that samples Lauren Hill, very listenable. You can hear that
Okay.
more than one. Unlike the Donda chant, which I mean just kind of gets stuck in your head at times. There's a song called Jail. There's a Jail and then Jail Part Two, which is more kind of the Kanye philosophy in life, that you're doing things and people are kind of, after you and it's like you're getting arrested. Kind of uses that as a kind of extended metaphor. The first version of that features Jay-Z, which I think is really interesting to see the two of them, working together in whatever capacity that was like. But he has this like part two of it where it's with the baby. And
Mm-hmm.
given the recent like controversy with the baby, I mean that's a sort of an interesting choice. The song is about self-expression, and I would say it's kind of about cancel culture. So the fact that you put someone who was, in effect, literally canceled by a festival, Lollapalooza, just a few weeks ago in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
that is trying to make that statement, very clear that he is against cancel culture. Um, but it's full of contradictions, right?
Okay.
It's full of contradictions. There's no child left behind. So if you guys like what Kanye was doing with the Sunday service and that style, that kind of uh, spiritual but secular stuff, he's got that on
Yeah.
there. Okay,
Okay. That's
he has
probably
songs that are
Selena
kind of like
Johnson.
praise.
Yeah.
That's with the Sunday service with the choir. With the
Oh,
choir.
okay. He got the choir back. Okay.
Yeah, he does use them. They are present here.
Okay,
And
good.
a lot of the songs, keep that same kind of religious hip hop point of view he has, which can be confusing to folks. But he continues to speak out in that type of language.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't think there. I mean, there's some songs. If should people want to do radio and make things singles, there are people there that could totally blow this thing up, and it could be huge, or it could be just another like for a week or two, like this is the weirdest thing in the world. I have to look at this train wreck. Not sure, not sure how it's going to go. I like it. I think
And then
overall it's interesting, and it's
and, and
it's interesting enough to go back to.
since you've said that, I hope it's not a train wreck because eventually if something is that, you look away and then all the attention goes away. So if there's definitely great content, great music there, it should be heard and
Somewhere in there is.
yeah,
It's so much.
between those
Somewhere
27
in there,
tracks.
there's some good stuff.
I hope
There's some
so.
good stuff in there somewhere.
I
It's the
hope
stuff I
so.
like and appreciated. Like even things like some of the last stuff that he did when a song like Power comes out of that, which I think if you're not a Kanye fan, you don't even know what Power came off of, what CD that was, and what thing that is. But you heard the song because it's been using 2,500 movies and a million
Very
commercials.
much, and it's
Uh,
used in so many movie commercials promoting their things. And then
mhm.
another song that was used, "No Church in the Wild."
Yeah.
That was
So he
that was a
creates
big popular
anthems.
one.
And that's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking he's doing here. He's creating music that you can
wonderful.
hear live that will get you pumped up and you'd want to hear live. And that's not necessarily singles. I mean, there are people that
Right.
make singles that do well on the radio and you can listen to it in your car. But would you want to go see that person? Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think you would be motivated in the same way. Like, what are they gonna do visually? What can this song get me pumped up? Would I want to be in a stadium? With that. But his work
Yeah,
definitely.
and I will say last thing on Kanye, I didn't even know this was a Kanye song. I was watching a commercial and you don't hear his voice in it. It's kind of the beginning of it, but it's advertising, I think, this cologne, and I think the actress, what's her name?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. Yeah, and I'm just
Oh,
like,
I know it.
I found out it was him, and I'm like, that's Kanye, but it has this very entrancing sound, and it worked for
It's
what they
flash.
were
Isn't that flashing
advertising.
lights?
I think so,
It's
and
flashing
it
lights. I'm
was
pretty sure it was lights
yeah,
for that.
that
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm fascinated with the anthems and how his music is used to promote other people's products and other people's movies and other concepts. So I believe this Donda will
Donda,
be it will
Donda,
definitely be
Donda,
will
Donda,
be around,
Donda, Donda,
and you'll
Donda,
hear it
Donda,
and
Donda,
continue to hear it
Donda,
and
Donda,
continue to hear it
Donda,
and then we're gonna
Donda,
move on.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of movies, we're moving from hip hop to go go, right?
There you go. There you
Moving
go.
from Chicago and now worldwide icon to that particular sound that DC made famous to a movie that's set in DC that was released on Netflix
Over the
over the
weekend.
last week, sort of quietly, but
Yeah.
has gotten into the top 10 because of its star and his star power, which is kind of undeniable.
Kofi.
And then ask the question: is it really love? Really love? Can you tell us about that, Val? Is it really love?
You know what? You said something very powerful when you said you saw it. You said, you know what? This is probably one of these films that's a child or one of the children of Love Jones, lost children of Love Jones. And I feel like it's a child that I would have sent back into the corner
Mm.
because I'm so
Oh,
sorry. Because I felt like the conflict should have been a little bit more.
wait, there was conflict in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. There was yeah. And remember what was that? The photograph. We both
Yeah,
talked about the photograph, and I
yeah,
felt like
yeah. You
that was
you you, you enjoyed it, and I
I
trashed it. I
liked
thought it
it,
was just
and you thought
trash.
it was horrible. So I'm gonna look at this one and kind of tilt my head. And I mean, yeah, Kofi, yeah, gorgeous. Other folks that are more well known were more of supporting cast, and excitingly enough, this is probably the last feature film role that the late Suzanne Douglas was in. She portrays the mom.
Child was very
Um,
young.
yeah, and so I noticed that it was natural beauty. The lead actress, and I can't think of her name right up top of my head. I'll bring her up in a moment. She was in, yeah. I think that she looked like to me a daughter of Erica Alexander from Living Single. Like they look like they could have been
Ooh,
related.
don't talk about her in that bad way. I love that woman. I love Erica
Oh,
Alexander.
you love
If
Erica
Erica
Alexander?
Alexander ever sees this, look, I am available. Very much so. That woman is beautiful. When they say melanin, that's one of the images I have in my mind. Is Erica Alexander and Living Single with that suit when she comes in to Khadijah's house wearing those suits in her briefcase? Good lord, my goodness! I want just like I want to grab her like a nugget and just like dunk her in the sauce. Whew.
Oh my God.
Mm.
I'm so sorry. I'm making my producer struggle thinking about okay, fan yourself off. Okay, I don't know if any. Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
I watched Living Single. I don't even remember her character's name. I just sometimes I just watch
Maxine
that show.
Shaw. Maxine Shaw. You
Look, look,
love
look, look,
Maxine
look,
Shaw?
look. Sometimes I'd watch that show with no sound. I didn't need sound.
Terrible. Well,
Ooh,
I will say this about
oh my
the
god.
movie.
Mm,
It was I felt like it was beautifully shot. I will say that.
eye
I
candy.
it was, yeah. And it kind of that Washington D.C. kind of hanging out, I believe, in the southeast quarter of DC.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
buddy.
And Angel Christie Williams directs this. This is, I believe, one of the few things that she's directed. And this was supposed to come out
What?
last year. This was
So,
supposed to come out last year at South by Southwest.
really?
Film. It was supposed to come out for that film festival. The film festival was
Really?
due to hit in March of 2020, and we all know what happened
Wait,
in
okay,
March of
so this
2020.
version that we see on Netflix was supposed to be a South by Southwest.
That's a very good question. I don't know if this version that's on Netflix. I just know that from my research, Really Love was supposed to be released in March, or was at least supposed to be previewed at film festivals. And one of the first film festivals that was supposed to be previewed is South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. I saw that. So,
Man, I think that would have helped it a lot.
okay.
And,
Okay.
and it's, I mean, this is totally supportive. I support,
Hmm. Hmm.
the fact that she was able to get this movie done. I think
Hmm.
that, kind of talking about inside joke here, like this Black AF, right? It's well casted, right? It's got a good cast. They drive around, they drive cars really, really well in the movie. It's well lit. Um, but I think that would have helped it to have
Yeah.
for the director slash writer to have an audience kind of see it and react to it. I think that would have helped it. I think that maybe the absence of that leads to some of the problems with it.
So the two characters, the man Isaiah and the girl
Isaiah Maxwell,
Stevie,
right?
Isaiah Maxwell. I yeah, that's
Most
so cute.
convoluted name ever. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so according to the filmmaker, she says, "I am Isaiah, an artist who puts his art and passion for his work before anything else.
Mm-hmm.
His woman, and as also his woman. Oh, I'm sorry. And also, I am Stevie, the ambitious, independent, intelligent Black woman who is a hopeless romantic in search of storybook love, that pure, fleeting feeling that feels like falling in love for the very first time." So the filmmaker felt this, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe she also wrote the story and had someone else help her with the screenplay. But I just didn't feel the same way that you felt about the photograph. Like the conflict came so late. I was looking at it going, this is going very happily.
Please tell me what the
Where is
conflict is, because I missed it completely.
okay? The conflict is that he is very passionate about his work, to the
Uh,
point where he ignores the girl, and she doesn't really kick up a fuss about it until late in the movie.
okay, so
So it's
that's the
like
conflict.
that's the conflict that I was picking up on. Now,
Okay. Okay.
um, if there was something else happening, then also she had him living with him, and her parents
Mm-hmm.
obviously didn't approve. But we also talked to Suzanne Douglas, excellent actress, usually portrays these very judgy characters on
And she
screen. She
does,
does it
yeah.
very well. She does it very well. How Stella Got a Groove Back, the judgy sister of Angela Bassett. Just she's talented. She's a talent that will sorely be missed. But
Mm-hmm.
Blair Underwood, it was not enough for him. But that's my forever crush. That's my forever crush, like he is with Tay Dix. But anyway,
Michael Ealy.
um, Michael, um, I don't know. I've lost my love and feeling for Michael. I don't know. He was the
Ooh.
perfect stranger, and he was stalking Sanaa Lathan, and he killed Morris Chestnut. And I don't know. I lost love for him. But anyway, that's that's beside the point. You too. And then he
So,
threw them kids. Then he threw them kids over the thing with the
all right,
movie
all right, all
with
right, okay,
Tyler
okay.
Perry. Okay, okay,
Let, let,
we're going crazy.
let,
Okay,
let,
anyway,
let,
it's
let me
really
say
bad.
some positive things about. Let me say some positive things about the movie
Please do, please do,
that I
please do.
think both of us say like you could miss.
Okay,
But there's some good things. She does some good things. Like
what did
as a
you do?
writer, director, there's some really interesting smoothness to it.
Mm.
When Ralph Angel or whatever his name is, Isaiah Maxwell.
Isaiah, thank
Anyway,
you.
look, whatever. When Ralph Angel goes and he goes and they pull the car into the gas station and he does a thing where he's broke. She has comes from a wealthy family. He gets says like I'm the guy, I'm driving, so I'm gonna pump the gas. It's like, dude, but you ain't got no money. So then she has to give him the card, credit card
Hmm.
to get the
Credit
gas.
card.
That's
Hmm.
so smooth. Like that, like you don't have to talk about the wealth disparity between the two of them. Just that action. Like when is there are parts of this when it's good. And I would say like the first third of the movie is
Yeah,
good.
it's good.
And,
I like the
right.
establishing part of it. Yes.
Yes, it's good. And the way they fall in love, I love that. It's very
Hmm.
natural. It's not
Mm-hmm.
set up. It just kind you just kind of see them together
They
in a
fall in
way
step
that
with one another. Yep.
yeah, in a way that you just sort of always with somebody, and then you realize like, oh well, what like what are we doing here? Like, what is this? Um, usually the woman says that, right? Like, what are we doing? So, so then they're always together, and it does that so well. But then you're like, okay, so this is a story. Everything's going well. When are things not going to go well? So that we see, because it's a story, and stories naturally have conflict, and it's like there's no conflict, and then when there still isn't,
And I
and
thought,
that's
and I
why I kept
thought
looking
possibly,
for it.
I thought possibly the painter, the white painter that did well with Isaiah was going to pose to be some type of conflict or something, and it was it went away really
But he
quickly.
was motivation to like wake up, like wake yourself
Hmm.
up, and pretty much reinforce what the Michael Ealy character says to him, which is like, dude, you have to be
Hmm.
twice, thing what we all know, you have to be twice as good,
Hmm.
10 times as good to get the same attention as someone who is not of color, not doesn't have
Right.
the same level of melanin. You got to work.
Hmm.
So he
Melanin
tells him that, and he sees it. I thought maybe Uzo's character um, would
was
have
old.
done that.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, this has got some actors in it. I mean, this is not
They
like
had a very
it's got a
good,
good cast.
yeah. Definitely had a good casting. And you had people to work with, but I don't know. I think she really wanted to focus in on the couple. And when we sharpened the focus on the couple, looking for the conflict, and then I looked away because I didn't see the conflict. I wanted
Yeah,
to,
right.
but because when we think about Love Jones,
Yep.
the conflict is
Hmm. It's there.
it's there.
Okay,
It's
so
present.
we love the obviously love that movie.
Mhm.
Even Love and Basketball. Basketball has conflict, a lot of conflict.
Oh,
It's
it's
just
riddled with conflict.
right, and that's what makes it so much sweeter when they're together.
Right.
It's like they want to be together, like
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
understand this isn't easy, and and they're willing to do whatever it takes to do that. There
Mhm.
just didn't seem to be enough at stake in this.
Right.
And I
And
know it's supposed to be light, but I mean, even Lifetime movies have more conflict than this thing did.
yeah, and I was the ending. I was like, wait a minute,
What was
the
that?
credit did the credits just roll? What happened?
Exactly. That's what I thought when I saw it. I'm like, that was it. That's the ending. You
I
went
said
with that ending?
no.
Really?
I want her reaction. This is ending too soon. So um
Yeah, you get a
a- a-
big naked picture of her. Like,
Angel, yeah,
what?
Angel, could you do a part two to this, please, or something, please?
Oh, I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know
Do
about that.
something. Do something.
Maybe somebody else should do a part two. I'm not. I'm not too
Something.
sure.
I don't know. I want it more because beautiful black people on screen need to be seen, especially with melanin.
DC, look, I've seen a couple of like independent films within the
Hmm.
last year coming out of DC.
Right.
Films of African Americans out of DC. DC needs to be on film more.
It
There's
does.
there's a lot of
Beautiful city.
yeah,
Beautiful city. Yeah, I've
and
been
just
there a
the
couple of times.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell that she knew where she was since the place
Hmm.
was there.
Right.
That whole area,
Hmm.
the fact that the diaspora is well represented. It's not
Yep.
just African Americans. It's people from Ethiopia, Eritrea. Like what you find when you go to DC. I think they mentioned the injera, right? It's one of the
Yeah.
scenes, which is just really
And very
natural.
and very similar to Philadelphia, the murals. Oh,
Yeah, sure.
when
Yeah,
you
public
find
art.
them, oh,
Public
that's
art
like a
expression is there. I
hmm.
mean,
So hopefully, like I
mm,
said,
mm,
really love, you
really?
let us know. Just
Really?
Just let us know what you think. It's currently streaming on Netflix.
Something
I
better to find on Netflix within the next year, hopefully, will be the sequel to The
The
Old
Old
Guard.
Guard from the
Ah,
director
one of
who
your
did Love
favorites,
and
right?
Basketball. Yeah, Gina Prince Bythewood. I did not know she directed The Old Guard, but when I found out, I'm like, oh, she does action well. Hmm, love it. Yeah, suspense. So the sequel is coming. Is that what you're? That's what is that what I'm seeing? There we go. Charlize Theron from the the commercial with the Kanye West music.
Flash
And
of
Kiki Lane.
lights. Mm-hmm.
All right, so but the first installment, it currently the Old Guard is streaming on Netflix, and now the sequel will also be directed by a African American woman, a sister, Victoria Mahoney, who has worked on the Star Wars franchise. So this is exciting, and I believe Gina Prince Bythewood will be remaining on the Old Guard as one of its producers. So good luck to the production of this, and a lot of things that's going into production right now. Got to follow all these weird COVID protocols. Be careful, be safe while filming. Do what you got
Yeah.
to do, and I think they're going to start filming this on next year. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, and Kiki Lane is the will probably take on one of the lead. She's
Hmm.
of course featured in the original, The Old Guard, which is on
Hmm.
Netflix. She's also the actress that's in the. Correct me if I'm wrong. She's the actress that's also in the Michael B. Jordan movie, right?
Oh, that's coming out.
On Amazon. No,
In
the one on Amazon Prime now.
Oh,
The
that
live
one,
action one.
yes.
Yeah, that's her.
Hmm.
I believe
Oh,
that's her. Yeah.
yeah, Kiki Lean. Yeah, she's been staying busy, which is always exciting when you're able to, actively and continuously get work because the gracious, it's not a good thing. And I wanted to mention the Emmy Awards. I can't believe we're literally at the end of August, and in next month will be I believe, the primetime Emmy Awards. And they were talking. The nominees came out for a lot of things, and we're like, oh my gosh, Blackish was nominated, and in the comedy category. You had other shows and many movies that were nominated, but the show that I found myself watching, and I was thinking, should I be watching this? Yeah, check it out. Ryan Murphy's Pose, and
Tell us about that,
I
and I
was
will listen as you talk about it.
so I decided to take a look at it because MJ Rodriguez was one of the people that was nominated in the actress category, and she becomes the first transgender woman ever to be nominated for best acting in a series like Pose. I believe, um, oh, I can't think of her name. Who, Michael, can you help me out? This is, what is that? I can't. The Orange is the New Black, and I'm trying to think of the transgender actress that's in The Orange is the New Black. I think she was nominated, but not for an Emmy. It was probably for a Golden Globe.
Laverne Cox.
Laverne Cox. Thank you very much, Laverne Cox. I believe she was nominated, but this is a big deal because of this
Right.
series. This series, I just finished watching the first two seasons that's on Netflix. I believe the newer season will be coming out, I believe, at the beginning of October. It had me in tears. And I was going through my uncle's, planning the funeral and helping out with that, and watching this show was such a escape, and to relive New York in the late 80s and early 90s. The music is to die for, and Billy Porter as Pray Tell, that you can watch the series just for him. MJ Rodriguez does an excellent job portraying but Bianca, who is a mother to her kids in this world of dance and ballroom. It's amazing, and to kind of hear that and to see that history is wonderful to me. I was just thinking this is a good education for me because I always wondered where voguing and all of that came from, but whacking was popular. So I know that I saw a little bit of that in early Jody Watley music videos and other things like that. So if you're interested and you need an escape into the world of dance, ballroom, and Vogue, Pose first two seasons is on Netflix, and the current season it will be released on FX. I believe that is going to be released in October. Michael.
Yes.
So we have another episode of Interludes coming up, and you know what? It'll be a reflective one. It's it's gonna be September. We're going back to school, and I'm gonna take you back to a memory of school time with me.
Okay.
And then also, and Michael is teaching, and he could be talking about teaching and how it is to in these COVID times where you got to always have a mask on. How is that happening? How is that working out for you, Michael?
How's it working out for me?
Yeah.
It's fairly well. I think that well, you know from the podcast and from these our extras, I have that voice. So a little mask is not going to do anything to quell my voice. I can be heard
Okay.
still in the classroom and down the hall.
There you
So
go.
students are able to receive the information from me. Now, can I hear what they're saying? Sometimes,
Sometimes.
sometimes. So that can create a little bit of difficulty, but we're working it through. And certainly, it's better to be in the classroom there with that option than to be relegated only to do something online.
Right.
Even hybrid is fine and works in some cases, but just only to be, online is just not really gonna work. So
So you'll hear more about that and more on
definitely,
our podcast on tomorrow. We have our audio
yeah,
podcast that comes out every Wednesday.
yeah, we do.
Every Wednesday,
Yeah,
do we have a
that's
guest
my
appearance?
mama.
We have a guest appearance by Miss Wamble.
Yeah, this,
Hi.
yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't mean to steal the spotlight.
Oh yes, you
I
do.
don't think I could if I wanted to.
Oh yes, you do.
I love your mom. So, Mr. Wamble, what's your name?
Well, my name is not Valarie Johnson because your name is, and this has been Interludes Extra with Valarie Johnson.
All right, guys, join
Valerie,
us on next week.
Valerie.
Join
Valerie,
us on next week for Interludes Extra.
Valerie,
Thank you
Valerie,
so much, and take care, guys.
Valerie, Valerie, Valerie,
Will you stop saying my
Valerie.
name?
Valerie.